Hey, so today I'm going to walk through building a Twitter analytics dashboard using Google Data Studio and SocialBee. So if you picked up the SocialBee deal, this will probably come in handy. You can use it to analyze your competitors or your own profile and kind of get an idea of how that account is performing on Twitter. We'll just take a quick peek through here so you can see what you'll end up with. So this is the dashboard here. It starts off just like a typical Twitter dashboard. You can see a tweet timeline showing how many tweets there are. And I guess I should mention, so we're looking at &Co's Twitter profile here. Now, they're the finance and invoicing app. You've probably heard of them. They were recently bought by Fiverr. Once upon a time, they were actually an AppSumo deal as well. But you know what? I have the Sumo Champ logo here, but it might make a little more sense if we put the &Co logo here. So once you've got this all set up, to change that, you would just hit edit, click on the logo. And you can put your own logo in here. The account that you're analyzing, or your client, or whatever you want really. So I'll just grab the &Co logo here. And then you just click on the logo, and then you'll see in the data section there's an image file here. Just click that, drop in the logo you want to use, and there we go. It doesn't look too bad now. Okay, so back to the dashboard. So this is showing their tweets over the date that you select. And the good thing about Google Data Studio is I've put in a little date range filter here, and so when you share this with your clients, they can actually go through and pick whatever date they want to look at. So we'll just take a peek at, there's last year. And then moving down here, I've got the total tweets, total likes, total retweets. The next section here, this is one of my favorite things that you can get from the SocialBee data, and that's actually the source of the tweet. So I've called it apps used, and I've used a calculated field to kind of just pull out what the clean name of the app is. But you can look at this and see exactly what tools your competitors are using, and kind of when they're using them. And then when you're looking at this chart, you can actually identify if they've stopped using a tool or if they started using a new tool. And I find that comes in handy. So you can see here, Buffer, they're using Buffer for 63% of their stuff. And then they've got the typical Twitter web client, iPhone. They've also got TweetDeck in there. Scrolling down to this next section here, I've got it. It's called Tweet Type Stats. The name could probably use a little bit of work, so if you guys have any ideas, just leave them in the comments below and I can change that. But basically what it is I've broken it down into the 5 areas that we can get data on from the SocialBee export, and that's all tweets, which is obviously every tweet that the person publishes, tweets that include links, tweets that include images, tweets that include GIFs, and then finally tweets with videos. And then for each of those, it breaks down a bit further, so you can see the retweets per tweet of that type, the likes per tweet, and the engagement. So if we look right here, we can see the retweets per tweet with links is slightly lower than the average, and that's across the board for that, which is probably what you'd expect. And then one thing to notice here is they only have 3 tweets with videos in this time frame. But actually, you know what? I'll just bump this up to the all date range, because I think they had a little bit more there. Yeah, okay. So you can see here they've got 15 tweets with videos, but the engagement per tweet with video is averaging about 20 engagements per video, which is a lot higher than their average tweets. So that's an interesting thing to note, and you can get an idea of what they're really doing. They should probably post some more videos. Then if you scroll down to the bottom section here, you can see the top tweets. So now this is ranking them based on total engagement, so that's likes and retweets, and it's going to show you them in the table down here. And this is just based on the date range that you select at the top. So we can see that of all time, Happy International Women's Day was their top tweet. If we wanted to look at just the past 30 days, let's say, we've got a GDPR tweet is their number 1. So that's basically the dashboard at a glance there. And now I'm going to walk through how you can build this and make your own or copy these. I'm going to give you the templates here so you can use them, and you can make as many copies as you want and share them with your clients or use them for whatever you like. And it's pretty easy. All you need is a Google Data Studio account and a SocialBee account. All right. So the first thing we're going to want to do before we do anything is get the data file. Now, in the future, once you've created a dashboard, you can do this a little bit out of order. But for the first time, when we set it up, we're going to want to start with our data first. So the first thing we're going to do is pop over to SocialBee, and then just log into your account here. All right, and now once you're in the account, you're going to want to pop over to the Edge tab here, and it's the export tweets. Oops. Export tweets, and here it is. If you don't see the Edge tab, here's one thing is that this feature is actually still in beta. So if you don't have that tab up there, what I would do is pop down here to their little chat widget and open that up and fire them off the friendliest message you can think of and ask them to enable it. And I mean, the team over there at SocialBee is pretty amazing, so I imagine they'll get that activated for you. Yeah, on a side note, I've been using SocialBee for a bunch of stuff for the growth tools and the engage tools, and I absolutely love it. And this is kind of just a bonus feature that I found tucked away here. So today we're going to look at, let's say, AppSumo. So we'll take a scan of the AppSumo account. So just type in their username here, AppSumo. And then you can decide if you want to include retweets and replies. I'm going to leave them out for this one. And then you basically just hit generate CSV, and it's going to email the file to the account that you have on record here with your SocialBee login. One thing to keep in mind that I didn't notice is that since Twitter changed their automation rules, all evergreen content that used to be posted repeatedly is now posted as retweets. So if you don't include this, it's not going to catch some of those. So keep that in mind. If that's something that you want to see, then you might want to include retweets, but that's completely up to you. All right, so here's the email, SocialBee accounts, tweets, export, AppSumo. Click that. You'll see some funny email content there like they normally do. I always love their emails. So then, just basically download the CSV file to your computer, and then we will continue. So now one little thing is that for some reason, Google Data Studio, I can't open the links that I've shared with another account on the same dashboard, even if I'm signed in with two accounts. It's pretty odd. You can do that in Google Drive and in Gmail, no problem. But for some reason, Google Data Studio doesn't like that. So I've opened up a separate tab here. And so we're just going to use this one. So now this is a different account, but it looks like the same one. But this is actually a different Google account. So this will be the first link that you follow. And like I mentioned before, the first time you do this, you have to do this in order, but once you've copied these to your own account, then there won't be any issues just changing the stuff. So the first time through, though, you have to add the data source first. So follow the link to the data source, and you're going to get a little screen that looks like this. This is basically just showing you all the fields in the Google Data Studio data source that I've created. So it's basically all these bottom ones are the ones that come straight out of the SocialBee export, and then a few calculated fields I've created to make to add some interesting stuff to the dashboard. So that's why you want to copy that first, because otherwise you're going to have an error creating these calculated fields, or you'll have to do them on your own. So the first thing you want to do is just hit make a copy of this data source. If you've never used Google Data Studio before, the first time you hit this, it's going to pop up their onboarding window, and it's going to ask you some questions, whether you want to sign up for their mailing list and if you agree to their terms and stuff like that. I have found that after you go through that onboarding process, sometimes it kicks you into the account, but it doesn't actually make a copy of the data source, even though you've triggered the onboarding from this button. So if you don't see anything there, you might have to come back to follow this link again and then recopy it once you've gone through that onboarding. So you see copy the data source, All right, so we're just going to click OK. All right, so now it's probably not going to load in this screen. It's going to load on this one for you, but I've already enabled that one connection, so it's picking that for me. But so you'll see, you'll end up here, and you'll think, file upload, connect to CSV. This is what I'd want to do because we just downloaded the CSV, but I'll just show you what happens here. We'll load up this AppSumo CSV file. And you will see it gets an error. So now the error is, at least as far as I know, triggered because of it doesn't like the CSV that comes straight from SocialBee, and I think that it doesn't like the blank fields and the way that they're formatted. So I mean, you could either manually edit those if you wanted, or what I found is the easiest way is to just do a little workaround through Google Sheets. So to do that, basically pop into your Google Drive account. And once you go there, and actually you'll see that this copy, it automatically copies the Google Data Studio stuff there. So you'll see this copy of SocialBee Twitter export file. But so just go create a new Google Sheets file. And we are going to call this tweets AppSumo July 6, 2018. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and go to File, Import, and we are going to upload that CSV file we just got from SocialBee. All right, and then we're just going to do, I just do replace current sheet, separator type is detect automatically, and just leave convert text and numbers to dates as yes. Click import data, I'll give it a few seconds, and then it's going to pop open here with the data that you've got from SocialBee. Now, if you haven't looked at the CSV file before, I'll just give you a quick explanation of what data it's giving you. It's a really great feature that's kind of hidden there, hidden because it's in beta, but also that they're not drawing a lot of attention to. But it's pretty awesome, the stuff that you can do with it. So you're going to see the status ID of the tweet, the original text from the tweet. If the tweet has any links, they'll be here. If it has an image, the URL will be here. GIFs, the URLs, videos, the URLs. If it has a video, it's going to show you the length of the video. Then it's got the time and date that the tweet was posted, how many retweets it received, how many likes it received, the actual link to the specific tweet, and then here's the status source, which is how it's being posted. So you can see, I mean, we've got the Twitter web client here, so that's how, I'm just using a filter to pull out just the nice name out of that, but that's where we're getting that data from. All right, so once we've created that, you can just close it, and then we're going to go back into the copy of the SocialBee Twitter export file that we created. You know what? And we're going to call this we'll call this SocialBee export file AppSumo. And now you might want to create, I mean, every time you do this, you might want to create a different one labeled for the account that you're doing. You don't have to include the date on this because you can always update the CSV file very quickly after you've made one if you need a newer date later on. So you don't need different dates of this. But it's good to put the name of the account so that you can have multiple ones that you're sharing at the same time. So then pop into Google Sheets, edit connection. If you're clicking that for the first time, you'll have to go through the authorizing Data Studio to access your Google Drive account. So you can see this popped open before, so it had preloaded these, so it's not showing my new one, but you can either refresh or sometimes you can try hitting just the own by me and it'll pull some new ones. So there we go, tweets AppSumo July 6th. Pick that, and we want to use sheet 1, obviously. Use first row as headers, and then include hidden and filter styles. There isn't any of those, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, make sure you have use first row as headers, and then hit reconnect. And when you see this message, you just want to make sure that what you see is no fields have changed due to configuration change. The configuration has changed is fine, definitely, but yeah, just make sure that it says no fields have changed. It shouldn't be a problem at this step, but sometimes when you're copying the actual template, you'll get some errors there, and that, or if it says that fields have changed, that's when you know something's being done out of order. So then go ahead and hit apply. All right, so now we have our new one here. This is the AppSumo version. It looks identical to what we had before. So now we can close this file. We don't need to be looking at that anymore. And then we're going to follow the second link, which is to the dashboard. So you can grab that link below. All right, so here is the actual dashboard. So this is when you're following the link. You'll notice that you can't edit here, but you can make a copy just like we did with the data source. So go ahead and click make a copy of this report. And now it's going to ask you it's going to ask you what data source you want to use. So the original data source is the SocialBee Twitter export file. That's what I had named it. So if you leave it as this, you're not going to be able to make changes to that easily, because that's going to be, or anytime that I make changes on the template, it's going to affect yours. So you don't want to use that one. You want to go into the one that you just created, which was SocialBee Twitter export file AppSumo, or whatever username you picked. And then just hit create report. And now we should see the AppSumo data load up here. And there we go. So here's the AppSumo version. So we will call this Twitter user analytics dashboard. And it's not spelled right, so ignore that. And then there you go. So that's basically it. Now you've got this. Well, I mean, I guess we should change the logo here so that people notice. So I mean, yeah, like I said, put either your logo, your company logo here, or your client's logo, or the account that you're analyzing. So I'm going to do we'll do AppSumo. That's not a great logo to fit on this page, so instead we're going to grab this. This one looks like a good shape. There, this one's even better. All right, so I'll make a copy of that. And then, here we go. Oh, no, this is going back. See, so there's a problem with using two accounts, is that it is switched back to my other window here. So this is the one that I want. We will swap this out for the AppSumo logo. And there we go. Now we've got a nice dashboard that we can share with anyone you want. And I mean, you can make as many of these as you want. They're all, I mean, there's no limit on Google Data Studio end. So it's pretty handy, and should hopefully get some use out of it. I mean, everything is editable because it's not going to fit every situation, but everything is editable, so you can tweak whatever you want going forward to make it fit your purpose. Yeah, and so that's basically it. One interesting thing is, so this all started when I was looking at the Anco account. They had done a post about their Twitter strategy for new blog posts. And they kind of went into like an overview of it, but didn't really get into the details. So I wanted to reverse engineer their strategy. So I actually ended up being able to do that perfectly through the SocialBee export tweets file. And that's a bit more in-depth tutorial that it doesn't go into this dashboard, but you can pull out the actual strategy they're using. So I'll post a video on that hopefully next week. But while I was doing that, the idea for this dashboard came up because I've been using Google Data Studio a ton lately. And so I just thought I'd put this together, and then everyone can grab these templates for free and use them however you want. So that's basically it. Once you've got this created, I guess if you want to update it or make any changes, it's a lot easier than what we went through before. You don't have to go back to my links ever again. You can either just copy the one that you've done here, or if you just want to change the data, say you don't want this one anymore, you want it to go back to the Anco one, or whichever new one you've downloaded, you would just pop up under resource here, manage added data sources, and then you'll see the export file here, and just click edit, and then back to edit connection here, and then you'll be able to pick your new sheet if you've got a new one that you wanted to use instead. Maybe you're gonna update it, so next week or whatever, next month, we're doing August, you would just make the new thing, connect it to Google Sheets, and there would be no changes in anything. You would just hit reconnect, and the whole dashboard would update. So it's good like that. it's pretty simple once you've got that part up. But yeah, obviously it doesn't do live updating, which would be a nice feature. But it is pretty handy, I find, and it's easy to share and completely free. So if you got any questions, let me know in the comments below, and good luck.